Hey there, it's John from Heroes and Legends. Welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. So this week, as usual, we're going to take a look at the hot and cold cards in both Standard and Modern. And this is an interesting week because we're coming off the first weekend of actual play with the new Standard at the Star City Games Open. Now, this weekend, starting today as I'm recording this, I think we're going to see a lot of changes from what we saw the previous weekend. And next weekend is going to be even bigger because of the Pro Tour. We're going to really see what the format's going to look like. So take these changes maybe with a grain of salt this week because there's still a lot more that's going to happen as the metagame flexes and shifts over the next 2 weeks. But regardless, here's where we stand this weekend. Let's start off with the top 5 standard cards that have lost value this week. Number 5 is See the Unwritten, and this lost 39 cents, bring it down to $6.99. This just saw a little bit of an increase prior to Battle for Zendikar being released, and it was just speculation that this was going to be a card that was going to see more play, especially maybe around ally decks and that type of thing. However, so far it hasn't happened. Not to say that it won't happen. Like I just said, I think we're going to see a lot of changes very soon with the format. But I don't know if this card in particular, personally, is a card that I would want to put in a build around a lot of creatures, even a lot of small creatures, just because of the casting cost. Coming in at number 4 is Kytheon, Hero of Akros, and he lost 40 cents, bringing him down to $7.56. Now, out of all the Magic Origins Planeswalkers, he has been the one who's performed the least, and I think there was a little bit of hope the last couple of weeks that maybe when Zendikar released, we'd see him make a ally build or a creature-heavy build. Didn't happen week 1. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen over the next couple weeks, but I think people lost a little hope, and we saw another drop in this card. It's a cool card. I think he's also the most difficult of the Magic Origins Planeswalkers to flip, which is probably why he's having a lot of the issues that he's having in the metagame. Speaking of Planeswalkers, Liliana, Heretical Healer, she lost 43 cents, bringing her down to $16.36. Now, I feel like Liliana, $16, $17 mark is probably a fair price for her, but she may continue to drop. She didn't see a whole lot of play that first weekend in decks that made big impacts at the Star City Games Open. Again, things could change over the next couple weeks. This card, I think, saw a fair amount of play before rotation. It could see a fair amount of play as rotation continues, maybe when the next set comes out. So keep an eye on this one. It might be a good time to pick up a few copies or a play set of this card just to be prepared for metagame shift. Number 2 is Tasigur the Golden Fang. He lost 50 cents, bringing him down to $6.29. So if you haven't purchased your Tasigur playset yet to play with in both Modern and or Standard, it's probably almost a good time to do so. This card will probably still lose a little more value because it has been printed in the Battle for Zendikar event deck, and that's basically what you're seeing here with the financial loss. This card sees a lot of play. It's going to be a staple card, I think, in Standard for some time to come, as well as Modern. So keep an eye out on this one. If you, for some reason, don't have yours yet, start thinking about picking them up. And the number 1 standard card that lost value this week was Hangerback Walker. Lost 91 cents, bringing it to $14.98. Exact same reason as Tasigur. This has been printed in the Battle for Zendikar event deck. That event deck's got a ton of value, so kudos for Wizards for putting cards like Hangerback and Tasigur in there. And I hope to see more of that in the future with cards, especially standard cards, that have just gained a lot of value quickly to hopefully allow more players to get into Standard without spending as much money. Alright, now let's look at the top 5 standard cards that have gained value this week. Coming in number 5 is a Bloodstained Mire. It's gone up $1.55, bringing it up to $15.30. And, you know, these fetch lands, they're all increasing in value. This week, Bloodstained Mire just happened to see the biggest increase. I really hope everyone's picked up their play set of these Khans fetch lands. If you haven't, do it. I know these are now starting to creep up to the $15 to $23 range, depending on the card. But don't let these pass you by. They're going to keep going up in value, up in value. Don't miss out. I know I've been saying this for months and months and months, but for some reason you don't have these, go out and get your play sets. Number 4 is Dem Protector. I saw a pretty big spike, $2.34, bringing it to $12.33. Dem Protector just saw a ton of play this weekend at Star City Games Open. It was seeing a ton of play before rotation. It has proven itself as a powerhouse post-rotation. That's not going to change. It's just a great card, and it's going to see a lot of standard play for its entire lifetime. If you haven't picked up a play set of these yet, you're interested in playing green in standard this season, you probably want to bite the bullet and pick these up for $12. They're going to keep going up. Number 3 is Atarka's Command, and this went up $3.87, bringing it to $14. And this was the card of the weekend, last weekend at the Star City Games Open. So this increase in price isn't due to speculation, it's not due to hype. This is due to strong performance, both pre-rotation and now post-rotation. And I can't imagine this card's going anywhere. It's in the right colors, it does all the things you need it to do, and now that it has the quote-unquote landfall ability becoming more relevant, it's even that much better. So pick these up, even if you have to spend $14, $15 on these. I think this is the command that's really going to catch on and really start to spike. Now, having said that, if you don't have your play sets of the other 4 commands, I would pick those up as well. They're all seeing play in some way, shape, or form, some more so than others, but I just feel like they're all really strong cards. When the metagame shifts, any of them could spike just like this one has, and I've been saying this really since they came out, Dragons of Tarkir. Pick these up as quickly as possible and as cheap as possible. And I hope you listened to me a few months ago, because they were a lot cheaper then. You could have picked up commands for just a couple dollars each in most cases, or even less. But these are going to continue to go up. Keep a real close eye on these. Number 2 is Dragon Lord Ojutai. Seeing a lot of play post-rotation, went up $4.27, bringing him back to $19.95. At one point, this was a $40 card after it came out, that first Pro Tour after Dragons of Tarkir was released. He saw tons of play. He has been hanging around ever since, but the hype died down a little bit. Saw a little less play, went down to around the $20 mark. He's back up there now. This is a pretty big spike, and again, good performance at Star City Games Open last weekend. That's what's driving this. Depending on the next couple weekends, we'll see if he continues to go up or goes down. But this is a relatively fair price for this card. It's seen a lot of play. It's going to continue to see play. And the number 1, again, for I don't know how many weeks in a row now, hot standard card is Jace Vern's Prodigy. And it's gone up another $10.09, bringing it to $70 on the market as far as the recording of this video. There have been reports of this thing going for as high as $80 over the course of the week or two, but some of that I think is just a little bit of hype and fluctuation. But right now it's officially at $70. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, here's the thing. It is seeing lots of play in standard, a little bit of play in modern, but it's really a driving force in standard. You almost feel like you need 4 of these to be competitive in standard to play a lot of the decks out there. So that's what's driving the price. But I do think this huge spike also is a little bit of hype, a little bit of speculation. I think there's speculators out there that think this is the next Chase the Mind Sculptor. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I don't really think that is true. But I'm afraid that this is an inflated value. So I can't recommend buying these unless you really need them to play in a deck this weekend. I can't recommend picking these up for $70. I just don't think they're going to hold that kind of value in the long run. So this is an interesting one to watch. I can't see it going much beyond where it is. I think we're going to start seeing this drop, especially once we get past the Pro Tour. It's going to see play. It's going to see a lot of play. But there may be some other decks that show up that people might be able to gravitate to, where they won't have to make this purchase, and at that point you might see the value start to decline. So keep an eye out next few weeks. You might be able to get a better deal on this card going forward. I would pretty much bet at some point you're going to be able to get a better deal on this card. A lot of Magic Origins has been opened, so take that into account too. Again, that's another reason I feel like this is more inflation. Alright, let's look at Modern, and we'll start off with the top 5 Modern cards that lost value this week. Coming in at number 5 is Misty Rainforest, lost 63 cents, bring it down to $58.75. normal fluctuation. You're going to continue to see this with these Zendikar fetch lands. They spiked a few months back pretty hard. Again, speculators jumped on them as soon as they found out they weren't being reprinted in Battle for Zendikar, drove the price up, and now they've come down a little bit to probably where they should be, quote unquote. The reason I say that is because they really need to be reprinted, and they shouldn't be this much. But yeah, this is probably what they're going to go for, at least for some time. We just don't know when they're going to be reprinted. They will be reprinted. My hope is when the cons fetch lands rotate out, or shortly after, they might reprint these to just keep a set of fetch lands in the standard environment, especially since they do have the dual lands that are both the basic land types. Again, just speculation on my part, but hopefully we see them reprinted in the not too distant future. Number 4 is Arcbound Ravager, and in particular, this is the Modern Masters version of it. Lost 67 cents, bringing it down to $44.97. And I joke around about this every week. One week it's up, one week it's down, one week it's up, but it keeps going up more than it's going down. So don't know what to say about this card other than if you're in the affinity neighborhood, you're going to need these. So yeah, you're probably spending between $40 and $45 for them. Number 3 is Omniscience, and this lost 80 cents, bringing it down to 25 cents. But to be quite honest, this is more of a legacy card, and this is just a shift more of the legacy metagame. There is a deck called Omnitel, which has been very, very popular recently, and led to this card going up in price pretty fast, and now it's just coming down a little bit and kind of finding its normal value. So that's all it is. It is modern legal, obviously, but really the price shift is more related to legacy. Blood Moon, this is the 8th edition in particular, lost $1.07, bringing it down to $41.64. Blood Moon is still a hot card, still seeing tons of play. It's had one of those big spikes a few months back, and it's really starting to kind of settle into where it belongs, and it probably is about a $35, $40 card. I think that's going to be where it's going to end up sitting. The 8th edition version in particular is not one of the more sought after versions with a white border and everything, so this one took the biggest loss this week. And the number 1 card that lost value this week was Horizon Canopy. Lost $1.27, bringing it down to $57.56. And still very valuable. These future sight cards are crazy. But again, it's just normal fluctuation. This card's been going up and down quite a bit. Maybe not quite as much as Arcbound Ravager, but it's settled right around the $60 mark. I mean, it hasn't really changed that much. So if you need it in your decks, I don't really think it's going anywhere. All right, now let's look at the top 5 modern cards that have gained value this week. Coming in at number 5, this was actually our number 1 card last week, Crucible of Worlds. It's gone up another 52 cents, bringing it up to $40.11. Again, this is another card that's being more driven by legacy metagame than modern metagame. Legacy, it's been seeing a lot of play. It combos very well with cards like Wasteland. There's kind of a lands deck out there that saw a lot of success recently in Legacy. So again, modern legal card, but it's being influenced more by Legacy. Number 4, Grove of the Burn Willows. And here's another one of those future sight lands. It's gone up 52 cents, bringing it to $57.23. And much like the Horizon Canopy, yeah, it's just sitting around $60. It goes up and down all the time, but it's still sitting around $60. Next is Verdant Catacombs. This went up 85 cents, bringing it up to $54.98. So we saw Misty Rainforest go down. We saw Verdant Catacombs go up, but they are all sitting around this dollar mark, with the exception of Scalding Tarn, which is going for a little higher because of the blue-red combination. But for the most part, yeah, it's normal fluctuation for these Zendikar fetch lands. Number 2 is Tarmogoyf, and this is starting to bounce back a little bit. It's been dropping for a number of weeks. However, that's for a couple of reasons. One was the fact that Modern Masters 2015 was being opened. A lot of new ones were being flooded into the market, even though the quality of those were kind of questionable. And secondly, it was seeing a little bit less play. Jund was kind of fallen out of favor a little bit, considering it lost Bloodbraid Elf. However, now that Modern Masters is pretty well kind of gone by, and Jund is kind of making a comeback. I'm seeing more and more decks do well in Modern with Jund, so it's starting to bounce back. It's been tweaked a little bit, and seems like a pretty strong top-tier deck again. So I think this is going to be a trend. I think your Tarmogoyfs are about to bounce back. The Modern Masters version increased 60 cents to $162. The Future Sight version went up 97 cents to $185.39. And that's kind of interesting because for a while the Modern Masters version was actually higher than the Future Sight version. And it's not really sure why that was. I mean, aesthetically, some people like the normal cardboard or more so than the Future Sight one. But the Future Sight is the original card and it seems to have gained steam again. And the number one modern card that gained value this week was Knight of the Reliquary. It's gone up $1.75, bringing it up to $14.99. And this is more like a speculation over a landfall mechanic or deck being successful in Modern. I personally haven't seen it yet really kind of run away with anything. However, there's a lot of Modern tournaments out there, so there may be some decks running this that I haven't noticed. But keep an eye on this one. If someone can really make it work and it really has a breakthrough moment in Modern, a Knight could really spike in value. So it's a little bit of a speculation at this point. If you pick these up for your play sets, in the hopes that a deck like this happens, you could get burned because $15 is a little bit of a high price tag if this doesn't pan out. But if it does pan out, could be a good investment. So this one might be a coin flip in some ways, but just an interesting card. It has increased in value quite a bit over the last few weeks since Battle for Zendikar spoilers have come out. So having said that, that's the Market Watch for the week. Hey, as always, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you haven't checked out our Patreon page yet, please do so. These videos are made possible through our patrons who are viewers like you that help provide us with better technology. We'll be getting a new microphone soon, which is a huge deal. This microphone has given me a lot of problems. And also, we got new lighting for our pack openings and stuff like that. So thank you to our current patrons, and please, even $1 helps us make better videos. So as always, have a great day. Hey, thanks as always for watching. These videos are made possible by viewers just like you through Patreon. Please check out our Patreon page by clicking on the top right. Down below, we have more links to quality Magic the Gathering content. And if you're interested in seeing trading cards open that aren't Magic the Gathering, check out the link to our trading card channel, Heroes and Legends Trading Cards. Thanks and have a great day.